News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Summer is over.
News Talk Radio WOBM-AM 1160 and 1310 presents Townsquare Tonight. Your chance to speak with Jersey Shore newsmakers about the issues that affect you. Call 732-505-1160. Now from WOBM News, Townsquare Tonight on News Talk Radio WOBM-AM 1160, 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
6 weeks from tonight, the dust will be clearing on Election Day 2016. You'll have a new set of national, state, county, and local leaders. Tonight, in the second of our three-part look at candidates seeking terms on the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders, we welcome in your Republican incumbents, Board Director John Kelly, seeking his 9th term, and Virginia Haynes, bidding for her first full term on the board. Not going over your whole resumes, but just a little introduction for people who haven't met you yet, because you have extensive resumes. Mr. Kelly is a former township committee member and mayor of his hometown of Eagleswood. He's led the board on 4 previous occasions since 1993. As the Director of Law and Public Safety, he counts among his accomplishments the construction of the Fire and First Aid Training Center, expansion of the county jail, improvements for the County Police Academy, and enhancement of the County Sheriff's Communications Center. He's also liaison to the Office of Engineering and to the County Connection at the Ocean County Mall, which he brought into being 15 years ago.
Yes, been a long time already.
Ms. Haynes is a household name already, especially to her longtime neighbors in Toms River. She's got a long record of local and state service, including as a state assemblywoman, Dover Township committee member, executive director of the New Jersey Lottery. She chairs the County Human Services Department, overseeing some $21 million worth of programs aimed at the disabled, women and children, the emotionally challenged, the jobless, and more. She's liaison to social services, through which economically struggling residents access about 60 support programs, as well as county planning and information technology. Welcome, and thanks for giving us a couple of minutes here as we continue our look at all the candidates this year.
Appreciate it, and thanks for having us tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Before we get started, as the Director of Law and Public Safety for the county, it would be remiss on my part not to dwell on, or briefly, on the events of this past weekend in Seaside Park and elsewhere. I'm sure that you've had a lot of discussions. My question basically is, what does this position and what does law enforcement, how do you view it now as opposed to Friday night?
Well, to be honest, I've always viewed what we do in Ocean County, both at the local level and the county level, as more important than anybody understands or realizes. We constantly train our officers, and part of that training is how to communicate with each other and how to go to a scene where there are multiple entities. I mean, if we look at what happened Saturday, we had it start with the local police. The county came in with the prosecutor's unit and the sheriff's unit. Very shortly after that, the ATF and the FBI were there. So you had, and the state police. So you had local, county, state, and federal law enforcement. And there has to be a chain in the command in place, and there was. And the county knew when to step back and let the FBI take over. And they have taken over that whole investigation and what goes forth. But I would say it's, for me personally, there's not a lot of change in what I thought Friday night to what I think tonight. I think that we don't realize how lucky we are to have people who wear that badge that are willing to run into danger to protect the rest of us who are running from the danger. And, you know, we saw that in 911, very evident. We also saw it Saturday. So that's my view of local law enforcement. It's something that we sometimes take for granted.
Do you think we've crossed a kind of a threshold here in terms of the tenor of life at the shore?
You know, I would hope not. I would hope people realize that we're still a safe community, that we always have to be vigilant, that there are targets in Ocean County. Now, I'm surprised at the target that was selected. We've always worried about targets in Ocean County, and I don't want to go into them in too much detail.
Right.
But there are targets that we've been concerned with in Ocean County. And we've kind of made sure that we're aware of those targets and have put programs in place to protect those targets. Who would have thought that a small community like Seaside Park, a peaceful little community right on the edge of the ocean, would be subject to what is now being called a terror attack? But it was.
During a charity run.
During a charity run for the Marines. I mean, there's little doubt in my mind, I don't want to speak for the investigators, but in my mind, that the reason that target was selected was because of the connection to the military.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Haynes, I don't want to leave you out of the discussion here, but this will be your first full term, assuming you're elected.
Yes.
Last time we spoke, you were just wading into the water. That was when you first entered the board. What's changed since then? What, in terms of your scope of knowledge and your assessment of your abilities to meet the challenges?
Well, it's a lot has changed in the respect that, of course, I've got to know more about the specific departments that I am liaison to, but also I know a lot about the county. I've lived here all of my life, and I'm very familiar with the level of government, having served on the state level, the township level, now county level. I've just, as I said, become more in tune with my different departments and with really the day-to-day operation of the county. And the people of Ocean County can be very proud of the people that we have, our department heads and our employees, because they are, at every single level, they are providing the good services to the people of Ocean County. And I've seen it firsthand. I'm at the office every single day, and there isn't a day that goes by that somebody isn't calling about a situation or whatever, and then we, take those calls. We call the specific departments to handle it, and it's handled very quickly and to the best of the ability that they can at the time, depending on the situation. It's very enjoyable, because to me, I look at it because what you're doing, you're there representing the county, and you have all these departments, but you're there really to do what's going to be best to make the county good, to make the services we provide better that we have. If we can expand them in any way, we do it. And if we can't, we try to do good with what we have. But all the freeholders work very, very hard and very diligent in the positions that they hold and overseeing all their departments. And it's a team that works together. And that isn't just the freeholders. It's all the department heads and all the employees, because they want to do a good job. They want to make sure that whatever department they're in, that they're doing the good job, providing the services, whatever the department may be. So it's an absolute pleasure. You
raise a good point, and I'm gonna switch it over to you, Mr. Kelly, because you're probably in a better position to really expand on this. But in previous interviews, I've asked opponents, what do you think this job is about? And I always get a different answer. One even said, well, it's about making phone calls. And that was pretty much it. So someone who's been there as long as you have and who has served as the director for 4 terms, who understands it even better than your counterpart, who's learning, just explain to us. You have department heads, you've got staffs. What, at the end of the line, is the freeholder responsible for?
Our job really is to meet with those department heads and make sure that we give them the tools necessary to do their job. We often talk about this county providing probably premier services in all of New Jersey. We're home to the most senior citizens in New Jersey. We're home to the largest contingent of veterans in Ocean County, and we have a number of programs for them on a day-to-day basis. The freeholders don't go and do the job in the departments. So our job is to meet with those department heads, make sure of what their needs are, make sure that we can fit that in a county budget and still give the people of Ocean County one of the lowest county tax rates in all of the state of New Jersey, and we do that. You talked about already, I'm Director of Law and Public Safety. I am not the sheriff, but I need to work with the sheriff. I'm not the county prosecutor, but I need to work with the county prosecutor, which means I need to understand what their offices do so I understand what requests need to be funded. We made it very clear to the sheriff and to the prosecutor after the events of Saturday. After we're using it, I said, as a training exercise at this point. What did you find worked well, and what do we have to make new investments in? And that's where we are right now, looking at what it is that we can do better, and do that in context with a living budget that can afford to do these. And we have very qualified people, as the Freeholder Haynes just said, heading all of our departments, and we can go from one department to the other. We have a multitude. But the Freeholder talked about the county family, as I like, it's 1,800 strong. It's not only 5 freeholders. There are 1,800 people serving the public need of Ocean County. And we have to all, working our departments, understand the needs of that department so we can then understand what funding is necessary and how to make it all fit in.
All of that costs money, and there's no getting around the fact that the county tax rate has increased over the last several years.
Actually, it has not
No.
increased over the last several years, if you
No.
look. This year, it did go up less than 0.2 of 1 penny.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 0.2 of 1 penny. I looked at what that meant in dollars on my house. It's less than $10 a year,
Mm-hmm.
$2 a quarter,
Yeah.
because that's how we pay our tax. And that's what it went up this year. The county's a growing county. If you look at the state of New Jersey, it's losing population. Ocean County is not. We are still a growing county. We're home to nearly 600,000 people, all with varying needs. But our job is to make sure that the roads are passable. And if you look at the roads in Ocean County, compare them to our sister counties, compare them to state roads, tell me which road you'd rather be on. Our county roads are always well maintained. And, we're vigilant on that. Freeholder Little is in charge of the road department. I'm in charge of the engineering department, and we work together to make sure that the investments on our roads are made. So it costs money, but I will tell you what the financial outlook of this county is. Again this year, we have a AAA bond rating because the people who invest in Ocean County say it's a great investment because you're well heeled to take care of the needs, not only now, but in the future. That AAA bond rating is extremely important. It meant today that when we sold our bonds, we got a 2.28% interest rate. And that's what the people pay are going to charge us to pay our debt. That's the lowest that we've had in any of our terms of office for all the years that we've been there. So what does that mean? It means lower taxes for the county taxpayer, because the interest that we're paying to put together all the programs that we have in Ocean County, the capital side, is being paid at a very low rate, and therefore we're able to keep the tax rate down.
Let's look to the future. Now that you've, Ms. Haynes, had a couple of months to get used to the program, have you set any major goals for a 3-year term within your departments?
Well, of course, in Board of Social Service and Human Services, Ocean Ride, those just departments are the one I have. What we're trying to do, because it's not just county monies that those departments receive. They also receive some state and federal monies,
Right.
which of course there's specific guidelines. Unfortunately, for instance, for Department of Transportation, Ocean Ride, which just received an award, but that's something I'll say for another time to talk about. But the funding that we receive, because it's for seniors and disabled, the transportation that we do for them with Ocean Ride, we've lost over $2 million in funding from the Casino Revenue Fund over the past 6-7 years. That is a tremendous hit. But because of the financial way that the county is, that we have been able to work with that to make sure that we are still providing the service, and because of looking at the budget, looking at the monies that we do receive, whether it's federal funds and some state funds, that we were able to add 2 more vehicles, 2 more buses to put out there to be able to go and pick up the people. Plus, we just added, we have tablets now for our drivers for Ocean Ride. Well, you say, okay, what is the big deal about a tablet? Well, what the tablet is, it gives the exact, we know from the headquarters of Ocean Ride to where the driver is at any time, we know exactly where he is. And if, say, one of his, the individuals he dropped off at a particular doctor's office gets done early, and then they want to get picked up, all we need to do is, instead of waiting for the bus that's supposed to come back and get them, there might be a bus available within the area, and we didn't have that before. They would just be able to have to go back and pick them up at the right time. But now with the new tablets and upgrading the system, they're able to go and say, okay, bus, I'll just throw out a number. Number one, you shoot over to that particular location and pick up the individual. Plus, people that call in the last minute and say, I need to be picked up because I have an emergency doctor's appointment, we're able to now do that. Where before we wouldn't, we'd have to schedule them for another day. So, I mean, these are some of the innovations that are being done, and it's every day. It's trying to work with the department so that we get the ideas from them so that we're going to be able to implement them and then hopefully apply for grants and get monies that we can go and continue the programs and expand on the programs that are so important.
Freeholders John Kelly and Virginia Haynes are in the town square tonight, and we're getting a glimpse at their policies and platforms as they head for a re-election bid in just 6 weeks. I'm Tom Angeli. Stick around. We'll be right back.
I know a good sale when I see one, and this is one you don't want to miss.
That's right, Chris. It's a September to remember at Sansone Jr.'s 66 Nissan. And with deals like this, who could forget? We're talking about brand new Altimas with up to $8,000 off MSRP. Or how about $1,500 bonus cash, plus 0% financing for 72 months and no payments for 90 days.
Who says you can't have it all?
And if you owe more on your car than it's worth, we can take you from upside down to right side up with our negative equity relief program. Don't worry if your credit is less than perfect. You'll have dozens of financing options to choose from with guaranteed credit approval in 15 minutes or less. Or you can take advantage of our exclusive rent-to-own program. We're ready to approve you today. Just ask us. Our only job is to say yes. Call 855-66-AUTOMALL. Online at 66nissan.com.
Nissan's for everyone at Sansone Jr. 66 Nissan, where we work hard to make car buying easy.
Plus taxes,
Summer is over, but the deals are heating up at Lumber Liquidators' end of quarter clearance sale. We're making room for new fall inventory. That means it's your chance to get an incredible deal on gorgeous pre-finished hardwood from just $149 per square foot. More than 30 varieties of beautiful bamboo from $129. Top quality North American and European laminate from just 39 cents. At least 20% off in-store closeout deals and more. Plus special financing. The end of quarter clearance sales going on now at Lumber Liquidators. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you today.
Get a leg up on better health. Deborah Heart and Lung Center is offering a screening for peripheral artery disease, or PAD, on Saturday, September 24th, on the Deborah campus in Burlington County. PAD occurs when leg arteries become clogged. Symptoms include leg pain with walking that goes away with rest. See if you qualify for this PAD screening at Deborah on Saturday, September 24th. Call 609-621-2080 or go to demanddeborah.org.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-881-1717 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-881-1717. That's 800-881-1717. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Do you have $10,000 or more in outstanding federal student loans? Well, you may qualify to have your entire student loan forgiven with one free call. That's right. If you're a teacher, police officer, firefighter, or work for a nonprofit, you may qualify for new federal programs to have your entire student loan forgiven. Graduate Service Center wants to give you free information on all the programs that can help. And the sooner you call, the faster you can get relief. Get the maximum loan forgiveness, loan reduction, or consolidation available. Plus, find out in the first free call what you qualify for. A loan forgiveness specialist is standing by to answer all of your questions for free. So stop worrying about student loan payments. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, this information could change your life. Call 800-375-1169. 800-375-1169. Wipe out your federal student loan debt. Call 800-375-1169. That's 800-375-1169.
Now back to Townsquare Tonight on WOBM-AM 1160, 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
I was fascinated by it.
Welcome back. It's in the Townsquare Tonight. Freeholder Director John Kelly and Freeholder Virginia Haynes. They're running for re-election, and you'll be voting on them in November. Mr. Kelly, can't let the half hour go by without asking you one other thing about your own personal view, okay? I know that you're committed to being a freeholder, yet within the time that I've been here, there was an attempt at a run for Congress. There was your nomination to the State Parole Board. All of these things, how much of a distraction are they, and what does that do to your commitment to a seat on the county board?
Well, my commitment to the county board, I think, is shown by the progress made in the law and public safety in the years I've been there, the roads and how they've been treated since I've been there, and the fact that I'm at work every day. I mean, I certainly work hard at my job as a county freeholder. When the opportunity came for Ocean County to have its first county congressman, and the people of Ocean County, through the nomination process, nominated me to run in the primary, I was happy to take on that challenge, and won Ocean County. The district was between Ocean County and Burlington County, and my opponent won Burlington County. They had more votes, they won. But if I were to be elected there, I would still be doing public service. The reason I was nominated for the parole board is because of my record as Director of Law and Public Safety. I've been in charge of what happens at our county jail for the last 24 years. And the governor and the appointment secretary for the governor told me this, was impressed with that record, and asked if I would take a position as a parole board member because of my background. And they felt that I could be helpful in that vein. That would still be public service. When that became controversial, I called up and said, withdraw my name, because I'm not going through all the nonsense of state politics and who's going to get credit and not credit because next year this one or that one or the other one wants to run for governor. And that's what happened with that nomination process. It became very, very politicized, and one trying to embarrass the other, and I was the pawn in the middle. So I withdrew my name to take away that distraction. I didn't have to do that. I did it. I'm glad I did it. And I said, and I don't know if you were at our reorganization meeting, but it was announced by our chairman I was going to be on the parole board. When I spoke, I said, that's not quite true. I've been nominated. There's a process. I may get there, I may not. But let me tell you something. Don't feel sorry for me if I don't get the position with the parole board, because I love being a freeholder, and I'm happy to be right here.
All right. Well, that explains it. It just didn't. I had to ask how you keep both eyes on the road.
I thank you for the question. It gives me an opportunity to answer.
Glad you brought that up. Now, you said a little bit about what you have accomplished, and we mentioned it before, with the jail expansion, with the road system. So obviously you've got more goals. You've asked about ours. Let's ask about yours.
Let me tell you that my main focus right now with law and public safety is addressing the drug epidemic in this county.
And you've got a crack prosecutor on that.
A prosecutor and a sheriff that are in it with me, but we also have the county jail and the warden, because in the county jail we have 500-600 inmates, many of those who are either using illegal drugs or alcohol or whatever it is. We have an opportunity to address that. I feel that the drug epidemic problem, there's three categories to answer it. I mean, everybody right away says, well, how about enforcement? Well, we have plenty of enforcement. We have plenty of arrest. But it's like trying to drink all the water in a faucet. You'll never do it. No matter how many we address any day, there's going to be more the next day. It starts with education, then enforcement, and then treatment of drugs and mental health issues. And unless you do all three components, you'll never be truly successful in addressing these problems. So I'm working with the Mental Health Board in Ocean County, with the Board of Health in Ocean County, with the prosecutor, with the sheriff, with the warden, and we are also going to work with the schools to see what we can do to help with the education component, and we also have a strong mentoring program. So the next goal of not only myself, but the entire board, working with our law enforcement people, are to address this drug epidemic.
We're just getting started and we're out of time. And we'll have
It
to have
went
you
so
back after the
quickly.
elections then, assuming all goes the way you think it's going to go.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks again for having us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being here.
Townsquare Tonight is a presentation of Townsquare Media New Jersey Shore News Division. Our technical coordination and call facilitation is by Mark Anthony. Video and audio coordination by Bradley James and Tom Tremblay. Programming consultation, Steve Ortolina. Townsquare New Jersey's Vice President of News Operations is Eric Scott. I'm Tom Mangelli. Thank you for listening. We'll see you 1 week from tonight.
This has been Townsquare Tonight, a presentation of WOBM News. To find out more about tonight's show and stay up to date on everything happening in your hometown, log on to WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.